Okay, let's get into this.
All right. So the confession source tells us this whole other identity, Pauline, it didn't start as anything serious. Not at all.
No, it sounds like he was literally just a joke, like a spur-of-the-moment thing for a mukbang.
Totally. Picture this. Grabbing, like you said, a Dollar General wig, some Dollar Tree blush.
Maybe a ratty pink bathrobe, I think was the phrase he used.
Yeah, exactly. Just throwing stuff together for a laugh. The whole point was to be a caricature.
Right, the specific type.
Yeah.
A woman who been married 4 times and worked at a Shoney's.
Yeah.
You can just picture it.
Totally. And the source says Tammie was hollering laughing the time, so pure comedy bit.
Just for the video. No bigger plan.
But then watching that video back, that's where things apparently shifted.
Yeah, this is where it gets really interesting. It wasn't just watching a performance back. The source describes it as seeing something.
Like a recognition, almost. The quote that really stands out is feeling like something in me that had been sleeping.
Wow. Something in me that had been sleeping. That says a lot, doesn't it? Like this joke character somehow tapped into something real, something latent.
And it was linked directly to a feeling of freedom. Seeing Pauline sparked this sense of liberation.
And it wasn't just an internal thing either, right? The audience saw that video.
Oh, yeah. The reaction was apparently huge. Comments flooding in like, we love Pauline.
People even suggesting a whole separate channel just for Pauline.
Right. So you've got this intense internal feeling freedom, waking something up, and then this massive external validation. People loved it.
That combination seems crucial. It's what made the person think, maybe Pauline wasn't just a one-off joke. Maybe she could be.
Something with a little purpose. That's the phrase used, taking it beyond just laughs.
It's a fascinating shift, from caricature to potential purpose. And then the confession brings in another element, something really personal that seems to happen around the same time.
This part is, well, it's intense. It involves an experience at the Revival Fire Temple in Jonesboro after a service.
It's like just regular post-service stuff, right?
Yeah.
Helping clean up, moving chairs, loading Tammie's oxygen machine.
Exactly. Mundane tasks. But then there's this interaction with a man called Brother Calvin.
And the description of it is so specific, he apparently brushed against them.
Just real casual, real slow. That's how it's put.
And the reaction to that touch, it's described as like lightning.
Went through me like something electric. An intense physical jolt.
And the feeling it caused. Made me feel alive again. That phrase again, alive, echoes the something sleeping, wake it up, doesn't it?
It really does. It feels connected. But then there's this immediate clarification about the feeling.
Right. The source says, and not in a lustful way, not like that, trying to define it.
But then, right after saying that, adds, it was spiritual, but it was also physical.
That's the really complex part. Spiritual, but also physical, not one or the other. Both things at once.
Yeah, it suggests a really powerful, maybe confusing, but deeply impactful moment. A physical touch imbued with spiritual significance, or maybe a spiritual feeling with a very strong physical component.
And that jolt, that feeling alive again, seems to directly feed into what happens next.
It seems so, because the source says they went home that night after the church encounter.
And put the wig back on, the Pauline wig.
But this time, not for a video. This was private. Sitting in the dark, on the bed, wearing Tammie's old I Love Cats tank top. Another very specific detail.
Just sitting there. Thinking, staring, a moment of quiet reflection.
And it's in that moment, apparently, that the realization hits.
Pauline wasn't just a character. She was freedom. It moves beyond a feeling sparked by watching a video to, like, a fundamental truth about this identity.
Freedom, liberation, a different way of being. And right after that realization comes the first step out.
Taking Pauline public for the first time, late at night.
Into the trailer park. The source even specifies the lot. Lot 18, the one with the old blue kiddie pool and the satellite dish held up by duct tape. Very vivid imagery.
Yeah, paints a picture. And the outfit for this first walk. It wasn't glamorous.
No, it was tight pair of stretch pants, a little red bolero jacket I found at the landfill thrift tent, and some red Dollar Tree lipstick. Resourceful, pieced together.
Just going for a walk, supposedly. No expectations.
But the trailer park at night, things happen. A man pulls up, from the next lot over, drives a septic truck for the county.
And the question is blunt. You working?
And the answer is immediate. Fully Pauline. If you got $10 and a loose cigarette, baby, I can be off the clock.
Just snaps right into character. Ready for, well, whatever that meant.
But then the source clarifies, right. They didn't do nothing nasty that night. Not really.
No, apparently the guy just wanted to talk and hold somebody's hand, which is kind of sad in a way. Loneliness.
It adds a layer, doesn't it? Started transactional, ended with companionship, but the transaction did happen.
Got $15.50 empty Monster energy drink. More than the asking price.
And feedback, too. The guy apparently said Pauline had good vibes.
So that first encounter, getting paid, getting positive feedback, even for just talking and holding hands, it must have cemented something.
Yeah, it's like proof of concept. Pauline could exist out there, interact, even get paid. It was the beginning.
And it definitely escalated from there. That one walk turned into something much more regular.
Right. The confession talks about going out as Pauline more and more often, moving beyond the trailer park itself, trying the edge of the highway initially.
Before settling on a specific spot, a regular place.
The backside of the pilot truck stop in Erwin, TN. Very specific location.
And even more specific, that patch of gravel near the dumpster where they don't got no cameras.
That detail about no cameras, it tells you a lot. It's chosen for discretion, for being off the grid. The source says, that's where they go. That's where we go.
Yeah.
Like, it's the known spot.
And the clientele, mostly truckers.
Yeah, and the descriptions suggest pretty transient, sometimes anonymous encounters. Some guys silent, some wearing sunglasses, even late at night.
It's made very, very clear this isn't easy. It's tough work.
Oh, absolutely. The confession is brutal about the physical reality. Gravel in your knees. You can almost feel that.
And the practical stuff like fake lashes falling off in the heat, it just grounds it, makes it very real.
And the physical toll goes beyond discomfort. It mentions sores, friction burns.
And that back knot, the description is unforgettable, feeling like it got baptized by a crowbar.
That imagery is just, wow. Intense pain, chronic pain, it sounds like. It really highlights the cost of this work.
So that initial feeling of freedom associated with Pauline, it's existing alongside some serious physical hardship here.
Definitely. The reality of the gravel lot is harsh, but the confession also shares some specific stories from the pilot, anecdotes that show the variety of interactions.
Yeah, like the one trucker. Paid $40 just to sit in the truck cab and braid Pauline's wig.
Right. Not sexual, just braiding a wig. Maybe loneliness, maybe something else entirely. It's unexpected.
And then the other guy who said Pauline reminded him of his ex-wife.
And then cried the whole time. So Pauline becomes a sort of temporary confidant, absorbing this guy's grief.
It shows how complex these encounters could be. Not just one thing.
But then there's the other side. The risk. The potential for harm.
The slap. Getting slapped on the thigh so hard.
It left a bruise in the shape of the Monster Energy logo. That detail is just chilling. And kind of darkly funny in a disturbing way. A corporate logo bruised from violence.
It's a stark reminder of the danger involved. So you have these moments of strange intimacy, sadness, and then outright physical harm. It's a real mix.
And despite all that risk, all that hardship, the confession lays out a very clear motivation, a practical reason for doing it.
It comes down to money, right? Baby, I come home with cash. Straight up.
And where does that cash go? Necessities. Paying bills, buying medicine for Tammie.
I pay the light bill. I buy Tammie her blood pressure meds and her Lunchables. Very specific things, essentials.
And we know from other sources, the mukbangs, that Tammie has a lot of health issues. Serious ones.
Yeah, the list is long. Lupus, a blood disorder, seizures, high blood pressure, liver issues affecting pain meds, skin tag procedures, a swollen spit gland needing checks. It's extensive.
So hearing that the money Pauline earns goes towards managing those health issues, towards keeping the lights on, buying specific food Tammie likes, it frames the work differently.
It's presented as an act of care, almost, of necessity.
Right.
The source says explicitly, doing it to help Tammie. That's the stated purpose behind enduring the gravel and the risks.
Which makes the secrecy aspect even more complex, because this life, this work, is kept hidden, especially from church.
Yeah, the source is very aware of that. Church folks would have a field day. Knows it wouldn't be accepted.
There's that line, church folks don't always understand, acknowledging that gap, that potential judgment.
But then right alongside that awareness of judgment, there's this assertion of faith.
I know God sees me. Believing that even if it's hidden from the community, it's not hidden from God. Maybe implying a different kind of understanding or judgment there.
And then comes that incredible line about the crop top.
Oh, it's unforgettable. If he didn't want me to wear that crop top, he wouldn't have made me look this damn good in it.
It's such a bold statement, finding divine validation almost, in the very look that church folks might condemn. It's defiant confidence.
Absolutely. And that defiance comes through in the repeated phrase.
So what?
Exactly. So what if I'm Pauline, just So what? Like pushing back against any judgment, owning it.
It's a powerful stance, especially given the context of needing to hide it from some people.
And that context is really sharpened when you think about the other videos, the mukbangs we see.
Where Tammie's usually right there, in the background, eating, sometimes commenting, physically present.
A constant visible part of the public picture, which contrasts so sharply with this hidden Pauline narrative.
In the confession, Tammie's role is primarily the person being helped, the motivation for the work. She's not really in the Pauline story itself beyond that initial joke.
Which leaves this huge question hanging, doesn't it? Does Tammie know? How much does she know about Pauline, the pilot, the details?
The sources just don't tell us. And that unknown, that potential secrecy within their shared space adds another whole layer of complication.
So you have all this talk of freedom, purpose, defiance, alive again, so what? But threaded through the entire confession.
There's this undeniable sadness, this hardship.
The physical pain is immense. The gravel, the sores, the back, not like a crowbar baptism. It's brutal.
The new encounters described, even the nonviolent ones, they sound lonely, transactional, holding hands with a stranger, listening to someone cry about their ex. It's connection, maybe, but fleeting and framed by the exchange.
And the fact that it all seems driven by the need to pay for basic survival bills, medicine, food, it highlights a real struggle.
That initial spark of freedom seems so far away from the reality of the pilot truck stop gravel. The contrast is stark.
It feels like the so what defiance is maybe masking, or at least coexisting with, a deep layer of difficulty and maybe sorrow. The liberation Pauline represents comes at a very high price.
It's not simple transformation, it's survival with sequins and red lipstick, but also with bruises and pain.
Yeah, it's a lot to process, which feels like a good moment to pause.
We'll be right back after this. Bakerville soda, it's freshened from Christ. All right, we're back. Thinking about this whole journey laid out in the sources, starting as a joke, becoming this source of feeling alive again, driven by necessity, leading to this secret life.
It really makes you think, doesn't it, about where people find or maybe create meaning and freedom when things are tough?
Yeah. So the provocative thought maybe stems directly from that complexity. Given everything we've heard from the sources, the mix of that personal awakening, the spiritual feeling, the financial desperation, the physical suffering, the fear of judgment.
What does this specific story suggest about the maybe unexpected or unconventional ways people carve out a sense of purpose or freedom or even just self-worth, especially when they're facing really challenging circumstances and maybe rejection from parts of society?
It's a heavy question because the sources present such a tangled picture. Freedom found in hardship, purpose tied to risk, faith mixed with secrecy.